All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't think I'm going to be making my annual live stream Tish this year. I just don't feel like it. It's not because of the bullying from Shagoyim like Yaron Ruvain and the like, and his minions there. I wanted to wear the hat because it looked like a pilgrim, but I'm borrowing my mom's car and it's I'm a little too tall to wear a hoiche hit and a zellige gtafontina platschige hit. Anyway, I do want to talk a little bit about the history and the ideology of this holiday. So, let's start really right at the beginning, which is not the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims is the myth of Thanksgiving. And there were other Thanksgiving events before the Pilgrims in this land. So, the Puritans in Plymouth Colony. So that's not really, that's the mythological source, but the mythos, when the logos, the real first Thanksgiving was 1789. George Washington declared a day of Thanksgiving. And even though in America we did not have Gedolim in that sense, there was, and not even ordained rabbis, but there were Talmidei Chachamim who approached this holiday in the way that they saw it to be appropriate. And I believe that they established the chazaka of how in halacha, which I think this is ignored by those who I respect and love tremendously. I'm a humongous fan of Rav Victor Miller, but I disagree with him about Thanksgiving. I don't think he has the whole picture of what it is, although it's also part of his ideology. He's consistent l'shitaso, and so I don't forgive him that, and I hold very strongly that people who are his students should not be celebrating Thanksgiving because they should follow their own Rebbe. But and the same thing, Rav Hutner, who of course was the Rosh Hashiva, where Rav Miller was Mashgiach earlier, also held Mamish Yarak Valyafa. That it's idolatrous. And the thing is, both of them are educated people, but still respectfully, I disagree. The historical aspect of how we Jews in America conducted ourselves on that real first Thanksgiving in 1789 was in the manner that was prescribed by President Washington. Namely, that everyone should go to their individual houses of worship, whatever their faith may be, and express their thanks to the Creator for His providence over us in this great gift of the United States of America and the Constitution. And so, in the Shearith Israel synagogue, the Spanish and Portuguese synagogue, the oldest congregation in America, the Chazan of Gershon Mendel Sheshes, he conducted a service. I think they davened every day anyway. In addition to the regular davening, they said some more Tehillim, and he gave a drasha, and we have record of that drasha, the sermon. They said extra psalms, and the rabbi, he wasn't an ordained rabbi, but he essentially functioned as the rabbi or the minister of the synagogue. He was the essentially he delivered the sermon, and they said extra psalms. So that was all right. There wasn't the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the stuffing, etc. There wasn't the football games or the parades, but it was a deeply religious holiday. The argument that Rav Hutner and Rav Victor Miller hold is that it's a Christian holiday, but it's not. It's an American holiday for all people, according to their own conscience, to take the time to, according to how they understand God, to be thankful to God. That's what it is. It's so that's the now. After that, there was no annual National Day of Thanksgiving. Various states would declare a state Day of Thanksgiving. It should be noted something very interesting and significant was that when Thomas Jefferson was the governor of Virginia, he occasionally would declare a day of Thanksgiving. Now, he was not a particularly religious person. He certainly was not a Christian as we would understand it. The Muslims, American Muslims, look at Thomas Jefferson theologically as one of them, because his views about God and his views about Jesus were more Muslim in nature than Christian in nature. Islamic, I would say, is the better term. They were more Islamic in nature than Christian in nature. For us, Jesus and Muhammad and Joseph Smith and all the others are not on our radar. We have the original way, right? But anyway, Jefferson was, though, very friendly with Rabbi Gershon Shesh's Adam, Rabbi Yisrael Ber Kershit, who was a tremendous Talmud Chacham. We could go to his kever, and we made videos there by Rabbi Kershit. Also, he technically was called Reverend, not Rabbi, but he was a Talmud of Rabbi Nosson Adler, the Chassam Sofer's Rebbe. He had where to draw from, and he had a very close friendship with Jefferson. In any event, Jefferson, although he declared statewide days of Thanksgiving as governor of Virginia, never declared a national day of Thanksgiving because of his views about federalism. Even though he wasn't a federalist in the way that as far as party, but his view that the states had the right to have religion, even though Virginia was one that had no state religion, by his time, and he believed in that. But in any event, on the national level, he felt that he could not make such a statement. That was L'Shitasei. That was according to his. That was consistent with his views on government. And so the various states would have Thanksgiving days, and it would often be around that time in November. And then finally, it started to become a national day of Thanksgiving officially by executive order, although still it was a recommendation. It wasn't a national holiday in the sense that we have it today, that we have days off and so forth. But it was a day that was set aside, Mukdash, and that was by Lincoln during the Civil War. And I highly recommend everyone to read Lincoln's Thanksgiving address, his proclamation. It is filled with a very deep theology, and it's worthwhile to read. So with these things being noted, the more extreme view in some of the these communities is by some of the Gedolim who came to America. Rabbi Victor Miller was born here and had more extreme views about what Thanksgiving is about and the questions about it, and Rav Moshe going back and forth and not really being sure what to do with this. On the other hand, Rav Soloveitchik, who was not born here, neither was Rav Moshe, neither was Rav Hutner, but like Rav Soloveitchik, he made it a ganze yontiv. He had a suda with his mishpacha. He wouldn't cancel the shir in YU. He would make it earlier so he could go home to Boston and have a suda with the mishpacha. And I wonder, his Adam, the Velach Rebbe there, the Tversky. What was he? From which Rebbe's? Tolner Rebbe was his Adam, right? So I don't know. He himself didn't wear a shtreimel by his chasna, so I don't know if he was a shtreimel man. His father wore a shtreimel, you see the pictures by the chasna, but he wore a top hat, right? But was it like a tish? I don't know. I heard stories that there were certain admorim in America who Badavka would eat turkey on the Shabbos after Thanksgiving. So I'll be honest, that's what we're going to do in my house, and what we've been doing for a long time, is that usually if we're able to find a turkey, and this year it was very difficult, we managed to get 2 pounds of turkey breast from the slaughterhouse down the road, which is very, very frum slaughterhouse. That's the way we do it. But some years when we had a little bit more plentiful, we would have on Thursday. Some years I have the chicken on Thursday. But in any event, today happens to be a day of Thanksgiving. The Suda Saidah was last night in Satmar for Chaf Aleph Kislev. So it is a day of Thanksgiving for the Satmar community, but it has nothing to do with the American Thanksgiving Day. But I'm not a real Satmar in this way. a lot of my views, even about Zionism, are more about my patriotism to America and not having dual loyalties to another country. So I'm not straight line Satmar in my anti-Zionism. I'm more, in a certain way, I feel about America the way the religious Zionists feel about Israel. Because the difference of religious Zionists, they're focusing on the piece of land, which al pi halacha has significance. But that's not what the be-all and end-all. The major idea what the Satmar Rav explained about Mashiach coming, about the Geula, the Kibbutz Goliath is more of a exterior expression. It's more of a symptom, in a sense, of the Geula. So it's not the right word. But the inner idea is all of our hearts being changed. Meaning, you could make a fake Kibbutz Goliath. You could make even a fake Beis HaMikdash. The one thing you can't fake is when the whole world will change our hearts and be dedicated to God. And that is what America, I think, represents. Because America is more of an ideology than it is just a piece of land. I've said many times, I was very offended when Obama changed the name of Mount McKinley back to the indigenous name. And not because I have any disrespect to the indigenous peoples, but because the reason why a mountain should be named after an executive under our Constitution is because of the unique aspect of this Constitution and the exceptional aspect of this Constitution. And by reverting to a traditional indigenous name is like saying that America is really no different than Sweden or France or Japan or Bangladesh or Ethiopia. Whereas to me, America is a shtickle of that racist smichas kulasenu, that it embraces the essence of what we are looking forward to in our eschatology, where the whole world is filled with the knowledge of the Lord, like the waters cover the seas, where ethnicity, background, these are all respected, but they are no longer essential. The idea of e pluribus unum, that unum should eventually go to the echad yochad yuchad. You know, I remember there was a bacher went to college in VCU, and we became friends with him, and he liked to ride a unicycle. And he said the unicycle to him was a meditation on the other unity. And that unity really is that when the Rebbeinu Shalom made the Tzimtzum to allow the pluribus to exist, right? He went back to the unum. It's the purpose of that pluribus is to go back to the unum. So that's why I usually will celebrate Thanksgiving and the 4th of July. The only thing is I'm so upset about how this country was stolen from us the swindle that took place last year, so openly in front of our eyes, and this pretender to the throne who usurped, who's illegally occupying the White House. It's very hard for me to get a spirit of gratitude, which I should have memonavshach, because the truth is, like Lincoln pointed out, those days were times that were he found so much to be thankful for in such a difficult and dark time. In any event, I feel kind of like how the Medrash says that Esther Malka fasted on Pesach, and there was no Pesach Seder that year. And the Malachim zittered sich, what's going on? And that's what was ma'arer the sorrow is that there should be the Ness of Purim, and kind of my kavanah in not, like Rav Moshe said, if you want to celebrate Thanksgiving, don't do it every year, even though we went back and forth about what the celebration means, whether it's celebrating or there's just eating turkey just because you like it and you're allowed to eat it that day and not celebrate Thanksgiving. There's a whole shaklatari about it, right? Sof kol sof, and not that Rav Moshe is the Sanhedrin. Everybody, if you're a Talmud of Rav Moshe, you follow Rav Moshe, right? I have one of my Rebbeim who's not a Talmud of Rav Moshe, and he celebrates Thanksgiving as a religious devotion. I'm not going to name his name because I don't want people to start harassing him. He's been harassed enough in his life. Someone who I consider is Tzaddik Nister, but I consider him to be Mamish from the Gedolei Ador. And people don't know him. And when I told Rav Moshe Weinberger about this particular Rav who lives not too far from him, he said he's very jealous that nobody knows who he is, so I don't have to be Megala who he is either. But anyway, so I have one of my Rebbeim who Mamish makes a ganze yontiv out of Thanksgiving. But I'm feeling myself, I want to be ma'orah something that the Malachim soll sich zittern. Why isn't the Koblenzer Rav making a tish? Even if privately, I washed last night and I sang, B'chabadchi because it's Chaf Aleph Kislev. So tonight when I get home, I'll already be Chaf Beis. And I didn't even sing it with such gusto. But, that's what we're dealing with. So anyway, I'm at work today. I do want to wish a happy Thanksgiving, but I'm not going to be fearing, even if I might wash and have a Suda tonight, I'm not going to do it publicly because I want the Malachim to zitter sich. So we should have a Neis Purim and a Hapach who get rid of this Biden, Russia, Yamach Shemoy, and President Trump should be back where he belongs in the White House. I know it's a pipe dream. Sof kol sof, maybe he'll be the Speaker of the House next year, and they can get rid of both of them. But really, I'm waiting really for, Tecumseh's curse. Baruch Hashem didn't take Reagan, didn't take Bush, but so now we're two behind. You can take both. You can take Tecumseh can take both Biden and Harris. It could be a natural way. Nobody should chas v'sholem do anything violent because I'll just make them into martyrs. They could die in a plane crash. They could die whatever it is. But let's have President Trump as Speaker of the House. If they can't, impeach and convict the both of them, which they both deserve. They're criminals. That's how we can handle it. All right, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. We'll see you later. Happy Thanksgiving.